I'm standing here with Carol from Out in the Garden Nursery, and we're going to be talking, Carol, about some of these great plants that you're having out here at GardenPalooza today. So let's just jump right in with this one that looks, it's about ready to pop in a bloom, isn't it?
This is a wonderful large-leafed Viburnum. It's a leather leaf Viburnum. It's got a big long name. We're not going to go into that. But it's a wonderful, it gets quite large, but it's a wonderful dry shade evergreen plant.
Yes.
It won't take zero water in the summer. It's one of those, it'll tell you it needs a drink, but it does very, very well. I have it under my oak trees and it's doing beautifully.
And I can't agree with you more because it's such a lovely Viburnum, and I love the leaf. This texture is beautiful. And speaking of things that you love as well, you really like Ligularias.
I love Ligularias.
So let's talk about this back one first and then the front one.
This back one is Dragon Wings, and this is just a baby. It's going to get 3 to 4 times taller that foliage-wise. It has a lovely summer flower, yellow spire. Gets about 5 to 6 feet tall in bloom.
Nice.
And then the one in front is a dwarf called Dragon's Breath, and it's about 15 at max, high and wide. It'd be a nice container plant just because it's so small, but it's still fine. Actually, all the Ligularias are wonderful container plants, but they're fine in the garden as well.
And what texture? I love the texture
It's really
of that.
fantastic.
And what's this one right here?
This is an acanthus. So most winters they're evergreen. A cold winter like we just had, not so much, but they get a wonderful big foliage. They can get 3 by 3. They get 3-foot leaves.
Yeah.
They do have a summer bloom. It's a big purple spike. It's very, very lovely.
Very architectural, and I love the foliage behind this the one right here. What is that?
This is another Ligularia. It's Confetti, so it's one of the dentata types, and as you can see, every leaf is totally different.
Yeah.
And it changes throughout the season. For what it looks like now and what it looks like midsummer, what it looks like in the fall is different, and that's a really fantastic feature.
And although you don't really concentrate on blooms a lot because you love foliage.
I love foliage.
But you've got some stuff here. These are great blooms. Let's talk about this one.
This is a Fothergill Mount airy, and it's another one. It has beautiful spring blooms, but it also later on has very interesting foliage for the summer. It has a nice texture on the foliage, and then fantastic fall color. Sun to part shade, it's a must for every garden.
Now, we've talked about this one before, you and I, but
Yeah.
I have to say, Carol,
Yeah.
has to be my favorite fancy bleeding heart out there right now.
It's fantastic. That's Dicentra Valentine. It's new, a couple years on the market. It's definitely not your old pink ones.
No.
It has, the foliage is better, the stems are a little darker, and then it has this fantastic kind of a coppery flower on it.
And I love it too because it's for the shade. It gives you a whole new color to deal with that you can work in things. Now this is quite a beautiful foliage plant. Tell me about it.
This is one of the Chinese rhubarb, or it's a rheum, so it's an ornamental rhubarb. You grow it for the foliage. It can be eaten, but I think it's like really bitter. You don't want to go there. Sun, big. It's not. So a lot of people, you could use this instead of a gunnera. It's about half the size of a gunnera, but it still has a similar texture. Starts out really red. It will go green for the summer, but has this wonderful, huge foliage.
So now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, that back there, that backdrop looks familiar. If you watched Grimm, they actually filmed here, so be sure to come on out in the garden sometime and talk to her about that, everything that happened here. Otherwise, see you at GardenPalooza and you can pick some of these up for yourself.